I feel like I need to block everything out and stay focused on my goals. Take over the globe.
In a different mind state. I'm playing for keys like in the streets, I want it my way. Hey, fuck that steak, we eating beef, we know that crime pay. They say we dogs and every dog gon' have his dying day. Rockin' that demon SRT, that big is sideways.
What is going on, y'all? Welcome back to a new video. I hope you guys are all having a great day. For those who are new here, this is my Jeep Trackhawk. And in today's video, we're gonna talk about a few must-have mods for your Jeep Trackhawk. First thing on the list is a security system. You guys all know that Mopars get stolen in literally 60 seconds. And well, this is a Mopar. And this can get stolen in 60 seconds as well. And well, after you go and pay $100,000 for a Jeep Trackhawk, you do your modifications and make it look good. You don't want someone to come and just take it, so you have to get a security system to protect it. There are many different kinds of security systems you can get for it, ranging from a few $100s all the way to $2,000. This is the company that I would recommend, Eagla Security Solutions, and here are the different products they have. My friend had it on his TRX and he absolutely loved it. I do want to mention that it's a bit pricey. I believe it costs like $1,500 with installation. I believe most of the cost is the installation. So if you can install it, or I don't know if they allow you to install it or they only allow you to go to like a certified installer. I don't know how it works. All I know that it costs about $1,500. With this system, you get an app, you get a tracker, you get all that good stuff, but you also get a pin code system on your steering wheel. And until you put a certain code in here, it is almost impossible to get this thing started. And that's the only company that I've seen that has the pin code thing, which makes it really hard to steal the car. Next thing on the list are tires. The Jeep Trackhawk comes from factory with all-season Pirelli tires. Those tires are pretty decent if you're driving in the rain or in the snow, but if you want to get traction and really enjoy the horsepower that the Trackhawk has, you're gonna need some better tires. Those tires are not gonna work. They're absolutely horrible when it comes to getting traction. That's not what they're meant for. Here's a few options that might work for you. You could get 17-inch wheels all the way around with Mickey Thompson tires or Nittos, basically a slick, and then you won't be able to drive it when it's raining or snowing. It'll pretty much be a race car at that point, and that's what most people do. Well, I don't want to say most people, that's what some people do, and that's just not practical to be on slicks all the times. I mean, there's people that switch back and forth, but that's super annoying. This is an SUV, it's meant to daily drive. You're not meant to have slicks on it and switch back and forth every other day. That's not practical. But what you also could do is just take these stock wheels and put Mickey Thompson tires or Nittos, and those are drag radials, so you're not really able to drive it in the rain, but they're really good for traction. The most practical setup, which is what I have, are these sporty Toyo Proxies, which are between a street tire and a drag radial. They do just fine. Obviously, I don't dig race my car because it just makes way too much power. This Trackhawk makes 1,000 horsepower, and unless you upgrade your suspension, you're pretty much gonna destroy the entire suspension, like axles, drive shaft, when you're making this amount of power. Now, if this thing was stock, these Toyo Proxies STs will do just fine. They work really well. I'm able to get traction from about 30 to 40 miles per hour, and mind you, I make 1,000 horsepower, so if you're stock, then you'll be able to get traction with these off a dig, off a dead stop, and you'll be just fine. And I've also driven these in the rain, and they do just fine as well. Next thing on the list is you gotta lower your Trackhawk. It just sits way too high from factory, and you don't really get to notice how high it sits until you put it next to mine, and then you'll be like, wow, it sits like a tractor. It looks like a TRX. With lowering it, there are a few options. You could go with lowering springs, and it will pretty much put it on a fixed height like this, or some even lower, or you could go with what I have, which is an air ride suspension. For those who haven't seen a Trackhawk on an air ride suspension, let me show you guys how cool this thing is. I'm gonna adjust the ride height with this remote right here. Watch how easy it is. We're gonna click this right here, and it's gonna raise it. And then we're gonna click the arrow down to slam it. process takes about 10 seconds, whether you're raising it or lowering it. And it just looks so good when it's slammed all the way down. Although I would not advise any of you guys to drive it like this because you'll pretty much destroy everything from under. I think the oil pan is somewhere down there. The trans is all the way down there as well. If you hit like an insane pothole, you might just crack your transmission, or I don't know. A lot of things can get damaged. Also, you can't turn. I don't believe you could turn because you could see how tucked in the tire is. I believe if you turn, you might like destroy your whole fender. It just looks cool for show. Obviously, I literally would not advise any of you guys to drive it when it's slammed like this. It just looks cool when you park it at a car show or you park it at home. I want to show you guys one more thing. Let's open the trunk. Look how low to the ground this thing is. All right, so here is the compressor. So you get a compressor, and that's where all the air is for it to go up and down. You need that. And for the Trackhawks, you have a lot of room in the trunk, so it's very well hidden. So if you want to go with the air ride suspension, you're going to obviously have to get the air ride system and then find a reputable installer to do it. You do not want to cheap out on this process. You have to go to someone that has had experience with installing an air ride suspension. If you don't, then it's just going to cost you a lot more money because things are going to get broken and then it won't be installed right. And then the longevity of the air ride suspension will be very short because you've had an idiot install it, and then it's just going to ruin everything. So just find somebody that's reputable. If you do not want to spend the money, then don't spend the money at all. This option for lowering it isn't meant for someone that wants to save money. It's gonna cost you a few $1,000s. So if you don't want to spend a few $1,000s, then just go with the lowering springs. Now the only thing with the lowering springs is, yes, they do cost only a few $100s, but let's say you want to go drag racing. Your car will be on one height and you're not able to higher it or lower it. You're just gonna be on one fixed height, and when you go drag racing, you want the car to squat, and if it's lowered, you're not gonna have any room to squat. And that's why I love the air ride, is because I can raise it when I go to drag race, and then I could lower it when I'm just driving around town. If there's a curb or there's a pothole or anything that I gotta go over, I could raise it. So, you know, you do kind of have the option to do that with the air ride, although it is obviously a lot more expensive. The final must-have modification is an intake. I went with the JLT intake. This one is proven to make the most power out of all the other intakes. And the reason you're gonna wanna get the intake is your supercharger whine will get so much louder. If you don't believe me, just hear it out for yourself. As you heard, the supercharger whine is a lot louder than factory, and the JLT intake has a lot to do with that. And you don't necessarily have to go with the JLT intake. You could go with the B Woody or the leg maker. The B Woody whines the loudest, but the JLT makes good power and it whines. As far as the B Woody or the leg maker, I've heard they both lose power. Like, they literally make your car slower, and don't quote me on that. That's just what I've heard from friends who've ran that intake. So I just go with the JLT. It's what I've always ran and I've had great experience with. I also want to mention that when the car was whining, you were hearing a squeaking noise coming from the supercharger, and that's because I have to do a new race rebuild on the supercharger. It's kind of like maintenance. Once your car is built and my blower is ported, you got to do it. I don't know every when, but it's time to do it on my car. I've done it on previous build red eyes that I've had, and Joker's Performance is who I go to for this service. They do it pretty often on a bunch of different superchargers, so I got to get that rebuild done ASAP, and then the squeaking noise will go away. It's only been squeaking for a few days, so it's a new issue that just came up, and I don't like to look at it as an issue. This is just maintenance that you have to get done when your car is built. So we're gonna take care of it. It's not a big issue, but let me know what you guys thought of today's video. Did you guys enjoy the list? Would you guys like me to make a video that kind of breaks down must-have performance modification if you want to make 1,000 horsepower, or the 5 cheapest modifications you can do to your Hellcat or Trackhawk? Let me know if that's what you guys want to see, and I will get it done. I love you guys. Whoa, what is this? We got a random bug in here. All right, anyways, I'm gonna let you guys go. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.